The season of the Splicer's main storyline has been brought to a close, and today we will recap everything you need to know from this epic story. From meeting Mithrax, the Kell of the House of Light, to slaying Savathun's minions to stop the Endless Night, you won't want to miss this. So this video is going to be a recap of this season's story. Yesterday I uploaded a season of the Splicer movie, which contains all cinematics and all dialogue from the characters throughout this season. So if you'd like to see that after this video, of course, that's up on the channel. Season of the Splicer began when the Endless Night turned the city to darkness. This Vex simulation was mysteriously placed on the last safe city, with the enemy at this point believed to be the Vex, finding a way to harness our own energy against us. Now this Endless Night is really bad for the city. Yes, the sun isn't out in this simulation, but think of all the technology that could no longer be used. Things like solar panels, if they exist, wouldn't work, plants would die, so there'd be less food, and this of course would leave the civilians in this city restless, as they hope that an end to this dark veil would come soon. With Osiris unable to provide answers, Quria tells us to turn to the Lakshmi, the ones who have used machines and tinkered with them all their lives. Maybe they could help us. Now there was one Lakshmi in particular, and his name is Mithrax, the Kell of the House of Light. We have quite the history with Mithrax, saving him on Titan a while back. He gave us a reactor. We also helped him out in the 0 Hour mission, and then in Beyond Light we helped some refugees escape to him as they didn't believe in the ways that Aramis taught. Mithrax is special though because he's the last known sacred Splicer, the fallen with the capability of communing with machines like the Vex, so we set out to find him.
Empty. The Elixni cleared out before the Vex showed up. See if you can learn where they're headed.
When we arrive on Europa, we find that the Vex and Aramis's loyalists have shot down a fallen skiff, one that Mithrax was using to help some more Elixni refugees escape. Upon making our way near the downed Elixni craft, we found some fallen bodies in the snow, but it appears some others did manage to escape.
The Guardian is almost here. Stay down. Stay quiet.
How do you know we can trust them?
I don't.
Upon meeting Mithrax, he tells us that many enemies have pursued his House of Light, and that the House of Light does not wish to be found. Word of this Endless Night has also reached Mithrax through his Vex tech, and he tells us that they must be stopped before we can speak in peace. So with this knowledge, Mithrax sent us into the Vex domain, where we learn more about the Endless Night and the plans of the Vex. As the Guardians fall into a trap and try to run out to make an escape, something was trying to fight against Mithrax, keeping us trapped in here in the Vex network. Thankfully, Mithrax was able to pull us out safely, and with the threat neutralized, he tells us that his house has to move on to keep safe. They can't stay here with Aramis's loyalists and these Vex trying to kill them. It is then here where Quria invites the Elixni into the last safe city. With Mithrax being our last hope in terms of stopping this Endless Night, it seems there was no other choice.
My people must move on if we hope to survive.
Mithrax, I saw those who wished to join you dead in the snow. Let them be the last to fall. Come, shelter in our city, you and your people.
Quria Kell, can you offer the Elixni such a thing?
I just did. You'll be under the Vanguard's protection. The Vex are the enemy here, and any Lightbearer who disagrees can take it up with me.
Then we accept. With light in our hearts, we will join you in your city, beneath the Traveler.
The Elixni would then take up camp in the Batsa ruins. This is the location in the city where the Insurrection Prime boss was defeated back in the Scourge of the Past raid. Here the Fallen would set up some beds, ether storage, and little statues and knickknacks to make themselves feel at home. Greeting them in this new safe haven was our guardian, Osiris, and Lakshmi, who despised the idea of the Lakshmi being in the city.
Your house can best show gratitude by keeping to itself. I know your assistance with the Vex will benefit us all, but not everyone in the city is so open-minded.
Next to this camp, the Elixni also had a spot in the new Helm social space. An area with some terminals, a hangar, and a Splicer servitor where Mithrax can speak to us and explain our current missions. When we first speak to Mithrax here, he gives us our own Splicer gauntlet. This would help us focus on our own abilities and guide us on our way to becoming a sacred Splicer ourselves, just like him. We would continue to use this gauntlet week after week in the new Override activity and also Expunge, taking out the subjugated mind and getting closer to learning the secrets of this endless night. Throughout the chaos, Lakshmi then speaks about a vision she had with the future war cult device, a device that allows them to peek into the future. She explains that she saw smoke, shouting, and gunfire in the last safe city, and that in the middle of all of it was the same Elixni now living beneath the Great Sphere.
We can change this future. Stop it from happening. While I monitor your progress against the Vex and assist where I am able, I will observe these fallen.
Lakshmi isn't the only one who has some hatred towards the Fallen. Saint 14 also has his own history with them. Saint in the past spent many missions slaying fallen house after fallen house. This is why they fear him so much and refer to him as the Saint. There's even a little image with some lore painted in their camp. In the weeks to come, we would continue our plunge into the Vex network, trying to learn more. This was when something attacked the Elixni camp and stole their supplies.
You see what was done. Our ether tanks smashed. Our supplies stolen. Our home defaced.
I cannot find any witnesses.
This is not surprising. The locals have been under enormous pressure. You're lucky it was not worse.
Now, many people didn't like the Elixni, or they would say the Fallen, in the presence of the city. So who was this that damaged their supplies? Was it some civilians that broke in, or was it perhaps Lakshmi? Saint says, how can you expect people to live alongside their monsters to Mithrax? To which he then explains to Saint that he was the monster to the Elixni for many years.
My people must now see the creature every day. It sees us. If we wish to survive, we must all learn to live alongside our monsters.
To be seen as a terror, a destroyer. To know children tremble in fear at my name, and mourn what I have taken from them. This is not the Saint 14 I know. Perhaps we must try to see the fallen, Elixni, as they see themselves. Or none of us will ever be anything but monsters.
Mithrax is of course a sacred Splicer and can understand some systems of the Vex, but this Endless Night was different. He can see the data streams as we walk through Override and Expunge missions, but he can't tell where they flow from, and each time we destroy a Vex mine, the others carry the leftover burden. So something was off, we were missing something. In week 6, we would learn something chilling. The Vex at the source of this Endless Night was actually Quria the Dreaming Mind, Quria Blade Transform. This was the partially taken Vex mind under the control of the Hive God Savathun, so Savathun caused the Endless Night.
As if a veil is being lifted. The network is laid bare, its threads converging on... What is this?
Mithrax, what's wrong? What do you see?
An infestation. I have found the Vex at the source of the Endless Night. Quria, the Dreaming Mind. Its code has been corrupted by taken magic.
Savathun. We've been played.
Quria has been commanding the other Vex, poisoning their minds, directing them at Savathun's will. The Endless Night is of Savathun's design.
So Quria is what is causing this endless night. The only problem was that we still had to figure out where the mind was in the Vex network. During all of this, Lakshmi would continue her crusade against our Lakshmi allies, broadcasting messages over terminals to the people of the city proclaiming the impending doom that will take their own lives. Ikora, of course, hears this and puts an end to it.
We cannot allow Zavala and Ikora Ray to sell our city to the Fallen. Why?
Enough! This is Ikora Ray. I will not stand by while this hateful rhetoric goes unchallenged.
In week 8, this week, Mithrax was finally able to locate Quria the Dreaming Mind. We then would head into the Vex network for a final time to take out the Witch Queen's pawn once and for all.
Unbelievable. Quria is gone.
A great evil vanquished. A deed of legends. I knew it! I knew we could do this! Congratulations, Guardian! This victory is monumental!
Let's not uncork every bottle of champagne in the city just yet.
Osiris is right. This is a monumental victory for humanity and Elixni. But it's a battle, not the war.
Even so, victories should be cherished. Yes, Mithrax is correct. We will have a party, a celebration. A small one, respectful, very classy. I will wear a suit.
So the Endless Night is slowly being lifted and our journey with Mithrax has come to an end for now. This still of course creates many questions. Savathun caused it, so we will see more of her in the future, I'm sure. Now next is Savathun, you also have Osiris's weird shenanigans. Now if you've read the leaks and heard some of my other videos, you know what I'm talking about. Now we may have a conclusion next week to the story involving Lakshmi, but I wanted to make this video to sort of be a main Splicer recap, the Endless Night, Mithrax, and all of that. And now that we got a triumph for completing the storyline for this season, I wanted to throw this out there for some of you who maybe haven't been playing or just want a recap of what's going on. So of course, if anything does happen with Lakshmi next week, we'll cover that in a separate video. Anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for this little recap. If you'd like to see a full movie with all the dialogue and cutscenes from this season, that is up on the channel right now. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. My name's Evade, and I'll catch you, Guardians, in the next one.